Hey there everybody, Mr. Kowalczyk here with a video for Business Math, and today we find ourselves in Chapter 12. Chapter 12 is talking about investments. Investments are wonderful ways to make money, especially for your future. If you have a pretty good life, you're getting paid regularly, you're taking care of your bills, and you want to begin really saving more money for the future and finding ways to make more money for retirement and a future better life, investing is a good way to do it. But be careful. Investing can sometimes be risky and you can lose money instead of make money. So always be very careful about this and always do your research. Today we're in section 12-3 and we're talking about the stock market. Now, when talking about the stock market, there are a few things that we need to talk about. First off, a share, or a share of a stock or a stock, is a portion of a company. If you buy one share in a company, that means you're part owner. Now, just because you own one share doesn't mean that you can just walk into that office or walk into that factory or walk into that company's place of business and tell them what to do. If you're going to try and have that type of power, I'm hoping that you have a whole lot more than just one share of stock. Hopefully you're a majority stockholder, meaning that you own more stocks than anybody else. So, if you are looking to buy stock in a company, the one thing that you're going to probably have to look for is something known as a stockbroker. These people have offices, or they even have websites, and you can go online and use their website to figure out what stocks you want to purchase, and sometimes even what stocks you want to sell. Here's the thing. Stockbrokers don't do things for free. That's right. They do things for a commission. And so they've got to get paid their money too. Well, what we're going to look at today is two things. Number one, the cost of stock. How much is going to cost you to buy a bunch of shares of stock in one company? Now, what we're going to look at for the cost of stock is just the initial cost of that stock. The total amount paid is also going to include that cost of the stock, but it'll also have the commission tapped on. So, the total amount paid is the grand total that you will pay to purchase stock. Well, we've got two main steps here, but sometimes you might need to be aware of some things. So let's first just kind of go through and read some things, okay? Let's go through and read some things. Number 2, Juan Ordez, and notice I'm doing number 2, but that is number 2 from our homework. Juan Ordez purchased 2,500 shares of Company International stock at $32.15 per share. His online broker, so he's got a stockbroker, charges $29.50 for fewer than 2,000 shares, or 3 cents per share for 2,000 or more shares. We've got to use this info to answer the following questions. So we're going to jump right into step number 1 to find what is the cost of the stock. So step 1. To find the cost of the stock, you first need to know how many shares you are looking to buy. And we're trying to buy 2,500 shares. That's what we got from the red underline in our little paragraph. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some multiplication. And I'm going to multiply that times the cost of the share. So, you do your math, take out your calculator, plug it all in, you get $80,375 even. Now that's just how much it costs for 2,500 shares of that stock. But we're not done yet. We still have to do letter B. But before I move on to letter B, I do want to point out something, and it is kind of important. Sometimes when you're doing step 1, you may have to do step 1 twice, or even 3 times, because you might have someone who's looking to buy more than one type of stock for one type of company. Maybe there's a person that wants to buy both stock in Nike and Coca-Cola. Well, if that's the case, then you're going to have to do step number 1 twice and then add up the 2 answers that you get at the end to find the answer for A. Please be aware of that. I think number 3 in our homework does that. So, let's move on to letter B. Letter B is asking us to find the total amount, the grand total amount that is going to be paid for this stock. Well, we do know the cost of the stock. Why? Because we got that from letter A. And we're going to add that to the commission. But the commission is going to get really tricky, folks. it's going to get really tricky. Okay? So let's go back up here to our paragraph and kind of look at some things. First off, I'm going to read the light blue line. His online broker charges $29.50 for, and this is an important word to me, fewer than 2,000 shares. So, if Juan buys 2,000 shares or less, he's only going to have to pay $29.50. It doesn't matter how many shares of stock he buys as long as it's less than 2,000. And if it's less than 2,000, he's only going to have to pay commission on $29.50. That's pretty good. It's a flat rate. That's a flat fee. But that's not what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with 2,500. That's more than 2,000. So let's go see what our other options are. And the cool part is, folks, there are other options. Why do I know that? Because it has the word or. So I've got a choice between the light blue and the purple. Let's see what the purple says. His online broker will charge 3 cents per share for 2,000 or more shares. The cool part is, that's a bingo right there. 2,000 or more shares, that's exactly what happened with Juan. He is buying more than 2,000 shares. He is buying more than 2,000 shares. So, we know that he's buying 2,500 shares, and we know that he's going to have to pay, and I hope you see this, folks, he's going to have to pay 3 cents per share. So what we have to do is a little bit of extra math. Sorry about the bell. I'm at school filming this little video. So, since we have to do a little bit of extra math, let's set everything up. 2,500 shares. And what we're going to do is we're going to multiply that times 0.03. Why 0.03? Well, because that's what we got in the problem. So, if we multiply this out perfectly, what we get is $75. That's right. $75 even. Now, you're not always going to have to do this multiplication. I do hope you hear me when I say this. You are not always going to have to do this multiplication. You're only going to do that sometimes. And I even put a note of it right here in the formula that I just circled in orange. Sometimes. Because the other times, they're just going to give you a flat fee. By the way, they do that for number 1. And when they give you the flat fee, you don't have to do any multiplication. You just plug the flat fee right there. But that's not the case this time. So just please be careful, and please read through everything correctly. So, back to step 2. I'm going to take the 80,375 and add it. That's right. Add it to the $75 that I have there in purple, and I get $80,450. That is the total amount that Juan is going to pay to buy all of his stocks. Not only will that cover the price of the stocks, but it will pay the company that he's using to help him buy those stocks. Once again, if you have questions, please pause this, go back and review, or talk to Mr. Kowalczyk. Thanks so much and have a great day.